smoking, it's a revolution. Shots to your head, it's an execution. It's being us versus the corrupt. Red dot, put a cross to your head. Let the Lord interrupt. Gun smoking, it's a revolution. Shots to your head, it's an execution.
What up, Liberty Goons? We are back. Whoa, where'd that guy come from? Holy shit. Where the fuck did that guy come from?
We gotta leave that in there now.
Holy shit, where'd that guy come from? Oh man, I thought that would be good to throw in there. Oh man, it's been a minute, Don Welch.
It has. Guys, I'm Don. That's John. This is the Liberty Goons podcast. And right now is the perfect time for you guys to go smash that like button. Make sure that you guys subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Drop some comments. And make sure that you guys watch us every single fucking week. I changed it up a little bit, but you know, I definitely hit the notification bell so you can watch amazing episodes like this every single week. You fucking patriotic weirdos. We love you.
Yeah, we freaking love you. So we're back. Little pause, about a 2-week pause, because we had a lot going on.
A lot of shit going on.
We had a lot of shit going on. So if you guys don't know, Mr. Don Welch is going to be expecting a baby here in the next 48 hours. You are going to be a papa in 48 hours. Watch out, world. But early congratulations to you, man. I'm stoked for you and the missus, and I'm excited for you to be a dad and for me to
be Uncle John.
Yeah, teach this baby all the bad things about life. Fucking can't wait. And then the other reason was we had talked about it previously, but I spent a week in Cancun, Mexico at Luke Bryan's Crash My Playa. That shit was so fun. I've been before, but it was so fun. I will tell you, Don, I think I told you this when I came back. I saw more boobs over 5 days than I think I've seen in my life. Like, it was.
You're at a country concert and on a tropical island, essentially. So, like, you know.
So many boobs. So, shout out to all of you amazing women out there that, young and old. I mean, I saw some old'ems. Like, I mean, shout out to all of you. God bless you. And then I flew directly from Cancun. Actually, not directly. I had a stopover in Mexico City where I watched Trump get inaugurated in Mexico City. You want to talk about a surreal fucking experience? I'm the only white guy sitting in the airport watching the inauguration on my cell phone.
We're gonna send your people back to you.
Oh, shit. Meanwhile, Don's texting me the whole time. Like, you watching this? I was like, yeah, I'm watching this. And then I landed in Las Vegas at 5:30 p.m. I'm on the phone with Don. I'm trying to scramble to get to Mandalay Bay to the hotel room to get changed because I am in let's just call it beach attire for the most part, and I have got to go to the Gundies, which entry into the Gundies I believe started at 7:00, and this is 6:00, and I'm just getting to the hotel. So Don, you were on the phone with me as I was scrambling trying to fucking get ready. Yeah, and I made it. Nice VIP experience at the Gundies. It was at the beautiful Venetian Theater at the Venetian Hotel and Casino in Vegas. Just a world-class event for the gun business, for the gun industry, for the gun influencer business. like right upon arrival, I got checked in and everything, and then you walk a red carpet and they take photos. I haven't seen the red carpet photos get released yet, but we'll put them up when they do.
I saw
Um,
some that were out already, but I don't probably from what other people took.
yeah, exactly. And then walked around. Obviously, all of all of your favorite gun tubers and 2A people and stuff there. Got a chance to chat with some really cool people. I ran into Keith, 2A dad, with the 2A boys because they were nominated this year. He bought me a beer actually. It was very nice of him. Ran into a bunch of the kind of the vendors that we work with and manufacturers that we work with. I had a chance to talk to our boys over at Whiskey and Windage a little bit. They were nominated. Congrats to them. They had made top 5 in the podcast category, our category.
Yeah.
So congrats to them. Got a chance to talk to, man, so many people, PSR. And then I don't,
Shout out to PSR, man. That kid's cool as
yeah,
shit.
shout out to PSR. He was in full get up too.
Was he?
Yeah. So that was cool. And somehow, and Don, I wish you were there because somehow I lucked into like this VIP situation, and I don't know how it happened. And I'm sorry, Gundies, if I wasn't supposed to be there, but
You had the bracelet on, fam.
I had the bracelet. They gave me the bracelet, and I talked to this like lady security guard. She's this older black lady, and I was like, "What? Yo, what's this wristband mean?" She goes, "Honey, that means you can do whatever you want to do. You can go wherever." And I was like, "Fuck, all right, this is cool." So it came time for like the show to start, and so I walk in to the theater, in the VIP entrance to the theater, and I go and I sit in the second row, dead center, in front of the stage. Um, all the guys from Classic Firearms were sitting in front of me. I had Washington Gun Law sitting right behind me.
Four Boxes Diner.
Four Boxes Diner right behind me. I had Ricky Lynn and her husband were sitting right next to me. Shout out Chris. We were able to chat a little bit. He's a big hunter. He's a former tier one guy. Yeah, it was quite the experience. The show itself, like, shout out first off, before we even get into ourselves, shout out first off to all the winners. Some really amazing people winning in that category. Most influential, I believe, was Chris from Honest Outlaw, and well deserved. That guy is freaking awesome. Even though we were talking shit on him when we were doing that 2311 review.
But he ended up being right.
He ended up being right. Shout out to Four Boxes Diner for top 2A voice.
That's a big one, man. I know that guy's been trying for a long time.
Yep.
And
shout out to him.
Another one that's super well deserved. In case you guys don't know, a lot of the information that we get is regurgitated information from him because he will make you the smartest person in the room, as he quotes the
as he says.
He says, so as he likes to say, big shout out to him.
Big shout out to him. All the other winners, I don't want to take anybody out. Obviously, the winner of our category, as everybody knew it was going to be, was the amazing Sean Ryan.
Yeah, everybody else was just there to try to get second.
Yeah, we were just there for the fucking party.
Yeah, or the party. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. shout out to Sean Ryan. And then the one and only Brandon Herrera made an appearance. He came out to present, I believe, first, and then he also won the King of the Hill award. But he came out and he was like, if you want to have an insider information, I think I posted it on our Instagram. If you want insider information from Washington right now, we're back, baby. And it was a kind of like the highlight moment of the night there. That was pretty freaking awesome. Celebrities there. John Jones was there. It was a really cool night, man. And I just want to say that, like, I would not have been there if it hadn't been for all of you guys.
Yeah.
And I know Don wishes that he had been there, but
Hey, you know what? I'm super thankful, one, that everybody voted for us, but also super thankful that John had the opportunity to go because I didn't have the opportunity. Obviously, I got, like as John said earlier in the episode, I'm 48 hours away from having a baby, and I didn't want something to happen and then, me be SOL because that was just what, like a week ago whenever this stuff was going on. So we're so close. But yeah, John went out, represented us proud, and we are extremely thankful that you guys even gave us the opportunity. And hopefully you guys do again next year. We weren't really expecting that opportunity either.
no.
That's, like we couldn't be more thankful that we had that opportunity and super blessed because of you guys.
Yep. Hint for next year, top 2A podcast, as well as vote for this guy, Top Gun reviewer, or breakout creator of the year. Because this is
Yeah.
going to be a breakout year.
Yeah.
It's going to be a breakout year for Liberty Goons and 2A Patriot Ranch.
Yeah, you guys
Feeling
got and me and John might actually do a little something special too, like a little side
Yeah.
channel soon. More and it's not going to really necessarily be like a review channel, but just a couple little cool things that we might see that you on little shorts or whatnot that we might be putting out as well.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So Gundies was just an amazing experience. Thank you to Forge Relations for putting that on, for Palmetto State Armory for being the title sponsor, and then all the other sponsors. It was ridiculous. Actually, I have something to show you all. So all the VIPs that I'm not so sure I should have been got this goodie bag, and it is filled with like just all kinds of cool shit. I won't go fully through it, but there's this Battleborn humidor for, it says, for rapid deployment of your cigars. So that was pretty cool. KCI with 2 AR mags. That was badass. What else we got in here? Otis Gunworks with a bunch of like cleaning stuff. Echelon energy drink. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm excited to try that. What else we got here? Dude, there's so much stuff in here. There's like oh, we got some goon tape.
Hey,
Gotta love
dude,
the goon tape.
I use that shit like it's going out of style, man. Like I use that on everything.
Special limited edition. I've got one for you, Don. Gundies patches, morale patches.
Heck yeah.
I picked up some extra stuff for you too.
I appreciate that.
Just there's all kinds of stickers and stuff in there too. But I just wanted to show that to you guys because they took good care of us. And then the second reason I was there, that Dom was also supposed to be there for, was SHOT Show 2025. And I should have heeded Don's advice. I couldn't because I had to get back to work. But Don said, "There's no way you were ever going to do this in one fucking day." He was like, "There's no way you're doing it." And I was like, "Dude, I've got my appointment set up. I'll wander around. I'll get not a fucking chance." I had 8 appointments set for that day, and I made it to those 8 appointments plus 2 other booths. One was for Don. And I have never seen. I've been to a lot of conventions in my life. I've been to a lot of gun shows, a lot of regular conventions. The nightclub and bar show that's there in Vegas. I've been to that. This was by far the largest convention I've ever been to.
It's insane.
It's insane. I've never seen anything like it, Don.
And I was telling John the reason why I told John this. So the first day, there's like, we walk in, there's like 2 rooms. Okay, we get through like these first 2 rooms, and it was like 6 hours into the day already. And I was like, yeah, I checked everything out. And they're like, where are you? I was like, oh, I'm on this floor at these 2 buildings. They're like, bro, you just went through the entrance. Like you haven't even made it into SHOT Show yet. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
my mind was blown. And then I started walking around for the next 2.5 hours trying to check everything out. And then I realized how monstrous everything truly was. And then the next day, like I still could make, I am telling you guys now, it is so big. It's mind blowing on how much stuff is truly there. You could I don't care if you just walk past every single thing and picked up one item at every single table, you wouldn't, and you did that for 3 days straight,
You
you
wouldn't finish.
you would not finish. And I'm just literally, if you just went like this to every booth and picked it up and went, okay, cool, went to the next booth, picked it up and said, cool, there's no way you can finish in 3 days.
No,
Not
not
possible.
a chance. I got lost multiple times
Yes.
inside there.
It's
I
so
didn't know where it was. I had to keep asking for directions. I'm like, how do I get out of here?
Bro, the first day was so bad because people were telling me where they were, and I had kept asking questions because I'm like, I don't know. And then finally, at the end of the day, somebody was like, "Oh, you didn't download the app," and I was like, "Oh, there's an app."
Oh, I had the app, I had the map, I had the whole thing, and I still was getting
Right.
fucking
Well,
lost.
that's what I was gonna say, and then I downloaded the app, and I still couldn't figure out where half the shit was.
No. And like, so I had my little, you know me, I got everything on my phone. I had my little like checklist of places I needed to go, and I had all the booth numbers written down. Of course, all the places I had to go were in like the different rooms and buildings. And so it was like, 10,552, 6,544. Like it was all over the place. But man, how freaking awesome is that place? Shout out. I got tired at one point, and because I was on a media pass, which is also really cool. So, for those of you that don't know about SHOT Show, if you're hiding under a rock, you can't really go as a quote unquote normal person. It's not open to the public. And this year they were even more strict. They didn't want to let us go as Liberty Goons.
Which I thought was
Um,
crazy because we
yeah,
literally got voted for,
yeah, 2A.
best 2A podcast. So
Um, I ended up having to go as 2A Patriot Ranch, and which was fine. It didn't really matter or anything, but um, you can't go, and so you have to be in the business. But I had the media badge, so I had access to the media lounge. So I went in and sat down because my feet were kicking after one point because I'm like fucking running all around and shit. Who walks in? The big old white jersey on, the one and only fucking Pew Pew Jew.
shout out to our boy, man.
Oh, so Pew Pew Jew walks in. He's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Where's Don?" And I'm like, "Don's having a baby." And so he's like, "Come here, we're taking a picture. We're texting Don right now." And what did he say to you? He said, "Fuck your baby," or something like that.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just read what he said because it's fucking hilarious. I was sitting down when he wrote this to me, and and it was so funny. This is the picture, which you guys aren't probably going to be able to see. I mean, yeah, you guys can kind of see that, but he sent me this picture, and he goes, "Fuck your baby, where are you?"
Oh man.
And then uh, I said, man, I said, laugh my ass off. I said, I wish I was there. He said, quit, tell your baby to quit being anti-Semitic. I was like, bro, you are like killing me right now.
Dude, I
In case,
love
in
that
case,
fucking guy.
in case you guys don't know yet, Pew Pew Jew is Jewish, and he is our buddy. Like he's clearly not saying that as like it's more of like an enduring thing. He's just joking around. Like he's not actually being serious when he's saying that. So I know how the internet is because people take shit out of context.
Right?
Like this is our homie, like one of our really good friends. We absolutely love Pew Pew, and yeah, I would tell you his actual name. I have a hard time pronouncing it too, a little bit, and he always corrects me when I
Yeah.
try to say it. But I also don't want to give out his real name to the public, so because I don't know how he is with that stuff. So
I don't either, but it was fun. It was fun getting a chance to chat with him for a little bit as my feet were fucking hurting. And because I also just spent a week in Cancun on like a large resort, so I was like standing and walking all fucking day. But yeah, so got a chance to walk around SHOT Show. Like shout out to all the people that I had meetings with there. We got a lot of good stuff done. Just real quick, shout out to Vault Tech, Amentu, CZ, Swamp Fox, Neomag. If you guys are not Neomag fans, you got to go check them out. They make a ton of cool stuff. Tiberius over there is a fucking gangster. He's an OG in the influencer world too. Olight. So I got to say this before we move on, and I know we're a little ways in here, but we wanted to cover kind of SHOT Show and the Gundies. But shout out to Olight. So Olight released a RMSC footprint pistol optic, as well as an upgraded version of their O-sight with a multi-reticle system on it, and they had sent it to me in advance so that I could release a video on their video day or release date. Well, they had a like media event, and I swear, Don, I felt like a fucking king. Like they had name tags ready for me, and they were ushering me in. They had a spot for me to sit in. They went through this event, and they put like all of our top influencers up on the screen with the 2A Patriot Ranch logo. It was a killer event. And Don, I know you've only had like a brief chance to play around with these things when you were here here at my place. These optics, they're good, man. They're good. I just don't know what else to say. Then they're good.
They get it's kind of crazy to me because, okay, every company, in case you guys don't know, has growing pains, right? A new product comes out, bad things happen. Those companies, if they're a good company, tries to go and resolve and fix their problems, right? And so, I mean, Olight was like the meme central there for a while. But like when a company puts out something good afterwards and they're extremely reliable and a great product, it's like you kind of just gotta look. Perfect example of this for all my staccato boys out there. Okay, when they first came out, the company was called STI. They would have terrible fucking problems. You might get the greatest gun in the world, or you might just get a total shitbag fucking pistol, right? When Staccato first came out and they were doing like their P4 or their P models, when they first came out, I think this was like 2020, right when they were at that transition. You might pick one up and you're like, damn, this gun's phenomenal. You might pick up one and it's a total shitbag. Eventually, Staccato figured it out. Now, where Staccato is going now, I don't really want to get into that.
Sorry,
but at the end of the day, like
they're world renowned now.
Exactly, and they're a trusted company, and I feel like you guys gotta quit hating on Olight. Like they make a great product for an affordable price. And I'm not a shield to Olight because first and foremost,
you're not sponsored by them.
I'm not sponsored by them, and they don't give me shit, so I can say whatever the fuck I want to.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say you guys know, if you know me from 2A Patriot, like I'm gonna, if somebody sends me shit, like I'm gonna call it shit. That's just, it is what it is, and I can honestly say, these optics, the O-sight optics, they're not shit. They're good. I'm actually thinking about putting the RMSC footprint one on my everyday carry gun and replacing my EPS carry with it, just because of the technology that's inside of that thing. It's fantastic. They even gave us a nice little gift here. It's like this little like light that you can clip on your kit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like little, it goes red. It was really cool. Really nice of them to do. So I just wanted to give that one last shout out there to Olight.
Keep talking. I gotta hook my. Sorry guys, I didn't realize that my computer wasn't hooked up. So keep talking. My battery's about to die. Hey, we do this shit live. So
we do this shit live, guys. Anyway, while Don is messing around with his shit. Another big shout out to our boy over at SAR. Juan, he is absolutely fantastic. Ran me through their whole lineup and some stuff that they're going to be releasing this year. So if you guys are SAR fans, some really, really cool stuff coming this year, as well as Born Primitive. Shout out to Bruno over at Born Primitive. A lot of cool stuff coming from them. And stay tuned to 2A Patriot Ranch this year for a lot of new exciting stuff. We've got some special releases coming up, Don Welch, over at 2A Patriot Ranch. Some really, really cool stuff going on. So check us out over there. Anyway, let's get on to what
The
we
show.
normally talk about. It has been probably in my lifetime anyway, probably the two most epic weeks in the United States in my almost 43 years on this planet. Like, Don, it
In case you guys don't know, can I just say this? Me and John, we started this podcast. Obviously, like 2024 was a massive political year, just in general. I
Yep.
don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, whatever the difference is. It was a huge year. So when me and John started doing this podcast, we're like, hey, let's hop on this. Obviously, me and John are big gun guys. We want to talk to you guys about all the gun cases that are going on, and that was a big part of this podcast. But also at the same time, like we're not just a 2A podcast. We're also people that are talking about the political side of things, because politics matter. They definitely matter when it comes to your gun rights, as much as we might hate it. But I didn't think that shit could get any crazier every single time that we did a podcast.
no.
And it just felt like every single week something was like topping the next week.
Yep.
And these past 2 weeks, like you couldn't have said that better, John. Holy cow. I don't think people realize, unless I can't even keep up with it, and I try to stay glued to it. There's so much stuff that's happening right now. It's a crazy time to be alive.
We have such a long list to get through, and I promise you guys, we are not going to extend this past our normal length of time. Don and I have told ourselves that. I have a secret symbol for him, and he has one for me, just in case we start getting a little long-winded on this. But we got to get this stuff out here. One of I will call it one of the greatest things to kind of right some wrongs from the past couple of years, for the past 4 years, I guess now. Donald Trump, he rescinded the security details and security clearances for Fauci, Bolton, and Milley. This is it's such a fuck you to the system. It's such a fuck you. Like, I can't even, I've obviously we've both talked a lot about Fauci on the show here. I've personally talked a lot about John Bolton because I can't stand the fucking guy. And we've talked a little bit about Milley too.
We talked about some Milley too, yeah.
So now they have no more security details, because why did they need security detail in the first fucking place? And Bolton and Milley, they no longer have security clearances, which they shouldn't have had to begin with anyway.
Yeah, and here, in case you guys don't know what led up to that, so whenever Biden was leaving, he decided to throw out all these preemptive pardons. Okay, we know for a fact, okay, that you don't get a pardon unless you've done a crime. Okay, so preemptive pardon means like, hey, you're not even submitted to a crime yet, but we're going to go ahead and pardon you, which means they committed crimes. Okay, it means that they know that they would be liable for a crime in the future. In case you guys don't understand what a preemptive pardon means,
there's actually been some talk on of these pardons not even being legal, because in order to issue a pardon, there has to be some sort of crime alleged. And there was no crime even alleged. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be convicted, because, as you said, preemptive means that you could be accused, you could be taken to court and it could not be adjudicated yet, and you can be pardoned. That would be a preemptive pardon without a case being adjudicated. But with these circumstances,
There was no case involved yet.
there was no case involved. They had never been accused of anything. Not officially accused. Obviously, we accuse them of fucking a lot.
But that's not. But public scrutiny is not the same
No.
as a lawsuit. It's two different
Correct.
things.
Correct. So there's some talk about that. We won't even get into that, but there's some talk of those things not even being legal. But Fauci, Bolton, Milley, good luck out there, guys.
Yeah. And I do want to say this, and then we'll go to the next one. If you don't think that this wasn't just a gangster move by Trump, you are missing the whole story. Because the fact that they got those preemptive pardons, we know, the public knows that these people are criminal, and then to strip away their security detail, and then during whenever they were in the White House in the Oval Office, they said, "Well, don't you think that that's wrong? Like, if there could be people." Well, no, I don't. I mean, hey, and guess what? Back to our 2A rights. Here's the beautiful part about it. All these anti-people, and if you don't think that Milley's not an anti-two gunner and Fauci and all these other people aren't, you're crazy, because they definitely are. Here's the best part about it. And for all the anti-gunners that are screaming, well, they need their security. Well, you can be like the rest of us here that I don't get Secret Services to come over and watch me at my house. John doesn't get them either. Buy a gun, or guess what? Pay for your own security now.
Yep.
And it's not like these people can't afford it.
No, because they've made millions of dollars off of your backs.
We'll go to the next
one. One of the things that's getting the libtards just all up in arms right now is that there has been some talk of trying to get a constitutional amendment passed to allow Trump to have a third term. Now, Don, I know you and I have like our own feelings on this. And this is not, I am not throwing like my support behind this or anything like this, but I just think the even talk of it is so fucking fantastic because it has people crying.
It's the ultimate troll on the internet for liberals.
Ultimate troll for liberals. It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen, but it's just the ultimate troll, and I fucking love it.
It makes for great content, and I'll tell you the reason why, in case you guys are living under a rock, why people are saying that. Well, obviously, people are saying, well, Joe Biden technically cheated, which and in a lot of ways, even if you don't think, okay, let's say you're the one crazy person that thinks 82 million votes happened, but then that he got 80 or 86 million votes or whatever it was, that you think that he actually got those votes in 2020. Let's just say you truly believe that. Well, statistically, that's impossible, because if you look at 2016, you look at 2012, you look at 2000, even 2024, everything is basically right here. And then in 2020, everything's up here. No way do you just happen to just 20 million voters just randomly disappear. That's not possible. Now, let's just take that out from the conversation. The fact that they hid the Hunter Biden laptop, okay, clear cheating, yep. Because when they did, whenever they were taking public data points from all this, it was clear that the public said if they would have known about that, they would have never voted for him, and more than likely Trump would have won still, right? That's what I'm saying. Take the 86 million votes away from the scenario. That is
laptop, Russia.
That is 100% cheating and manipulation to the system.
COVID.
Yeah. That it didn't come from China. Well, now we know that it came from China. So there's lots of things. Getting with fucking dick face from fucking Facebook, which also still fuck him because he lied about what he said he was going to do.
I'm still in jail.
I just got hit by another fucking thing on Facebook or on Instagram. Same shit, Meta. Doesn't make a difference. The big part about this story is a lot of people believe that that is illegitimate because of the cheating. And it is cheating no matter what you say. I don't care what liberal wants to get on it. I don't care if it's a Republican that wants to get or a libertarian. That is cheating. That is 100% cheating. So people are saying, well, technically, he already won a second term. So really, this is his third term. So really, what's the difference? So there's lots of crazy things. Obviously, me and John both think that that's kind of like this is for the ultimate troll. Nobody's
Yeah.
taking this serious,
Nobody's taking it seriously,
but
but it is a troll.
It's hilarious to watch you guys melt over.
One of the other things that people have been melting down about, old Elon Musk going from his heart to the crowd and then calling it a fucking Nazi salute. And the videos that have come out afterwards showing Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, and
AOC?
Walls Balls doing the same thing like this. I'm gonna get canceled now just because I'm like reenacting it. Anybody that thinks that Elon Musk is stupid enough to go out on a world stage and give a Nazi salute without causing an absolute fucking meltdown is out of their minds.
Well, basically, what he was saying was like, "My heart goes out to you."
Yeah,
is what he was saying.
He was doing this.
The guy has autism. It is what it is. The guy's
He feels hard.
The guy's also a genius. He's awkward socially. It just is what it is at the end of the day. But no matter what, like you have to listen to what he's saying when he's doing it because he's saying, "Hey, my heart goes out to you," but he's like telling the whole crowd, you know.
Yeah, he was doing this.
However, let me go back to this in case you guys, because a lot of you guys are idiots. That is not the Sig Heil salute. That is not.
No.
It comes from the hip when you do that. So if you guys, and I urge all of you to go watch this. So go watch anything from World War II, and you will see it comes from the hip, and then it goes. And I'm not going to do it because I'm going to here. I'll do some things with my hands, and then it goes straight out. Okay.
Yep.
If you watch Hitler himself, he starts from here and goes up with his hand. He never comes out like it's very rarely will you
never is it like this.
Yeah, you will never see it come from the heart. That is a manipulated thing that people started doing for fucking movies, and then people caught on to it and thought that that was how it was. No, okay. And I'm not saying that I don't know any Nazis, but that is not a real Nazi thing to do at all because it's not what Nazis did.
No. And to think that Elon would do it is just it's this continued fucking liberal meltdown, which is going to be basically the overarching topic of everything that we talk about.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are fucking idiots. Go blame AOC because she did it like 3 times in the same speech. So go blame her for it, or go blame Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden when they've done it. Like it's a stupid fucking argument. And it just shows how much you guys are fucking crybabies and try to make something out of nothing.
So I added this next one in here without you knowing, Don, because of something that you said just a few minutes ago when you called Trump gangsta. So we flew some flights down to Colombia last week to return some of their people to them. They decided that they were going to refuse those flights. So Big Daddy Trump said, "Oh, you want to play fucking games? I'm just going to tariff and tax the living shit out of you." So in the meantime of all of this happening, as soon as he says this, absolute liberal meltdown saying we're not going to be able to have flowers for Valentine's Day and our coffee is going to cost so much and what's Trump doing and blah, blah, blah. And this is the worst way to do diplomacy, all this shit. So they're saying all this stuff. And in the time that they're saying all of it, Colombia backs off and says, "Never mind. We're going to send our presidential plane to pick up the people that you were going to send back to us." And what does Trump do that night? Trump posts probably one of the most epic pictures that any president will ever post. It was an AI generated photo of Trump in like a like Cuban Colombian gangster outfit, looking like fucking Pablo Escobar or some shit.
Dude, it's hilarious. The funny part about that is whenever that was going on, whenever he heard that they had called him back, he was playing golf
Yeah, he was playing golf.
and did all this while he was playing golf.
So if you want to make fun of him for playing golf, he's actually getting shit done.
Gangster move.
Gangster move. I had to throw that in there after you called him a gangster. One of the big moves this week, Don. We got Marines going to the border. Mountain Division.
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Give us your take from way closer to the border than I am.
It's 100% needed. Okay, in case you guys don't know, because one of the executive orders that Trump did is that he made the cartel a terrorist group, right? So now they can do more if they choose to. They can do more with the cartel than what they've ever been able to do before. I see a lot of Marines. I see a lot of people on here be like, "You don't want to go into war with them because like it's just going to be chaos and chaos and chaos." I don't think that's what Trump's trying to do.
No.
I think what Trump's actually saying is like, if you're in this country and you're get caught and you're part of the cartel, we're going to subject you to the court of law as a fucking terrorist.
Right. Not as a drug dealer or not as a illegal immigrant or anything like that.
No. You're going to be
a terrorist.
And I think people are taking things way. I see all these like military personnel that are like, well, yeah, we can crush them, but it's like you're just cutting the head of the snake off. There's going to be 10 more that are going to come back, and you're going to be leaders of the cartel. And it's like,
that's
bro,
not the point.
Like these, like they're like, oh, and if you want to kill the drug problem, we got to start that at home. Yeah, clearly that needs to be done here. And what the problem is that the Democrats have destroyed the nuclear family for so long. It's one of the reasons why everybody's like, we have such a huge drug problem in the first place in America. So the thing about this is, once again, let me reiterate this for all the idiots. This is not so we can go to war with the cartel in Mexico. It's not. It gives us the option to. But this is really meant for at home. If you catch a cartel member
at the border,
or at the border, we will treat you as a terrorist.
Yep. The videos, like I saw this one. They had edited like the Vietnam soundtrack over top of like the Black Hawk that was flying through like the Rio Grande. It was so fantastic. Like. And let's just talk about success, right? Let's talk about success here. Lowest 1 week total of border crossings in the past like 20 years or some shit like that. Don't quote me on it. It was something crazy. Like everybody said, oh shit. Like, are you really, if you're, say you're a coyote, right? And for those of you who don't know, coyote is somebody that like takes people across the border. Generally, they work for the cartels.
They're human traffickers.
Human traffickers. If you're a coyote and you have a mountain division of Marines, 1,500 Marines that are being deployed to the border, plus the border gets shut down, are you going to even think about trying to go across? No, because you're in it for the money. You're not in it for some kind of like war or holier than thou, MO. You're in it for the money. Well, guess what? If you have a fear of getting shot at the border by a Marine, are you going to do it? No.
Well, we already saw this happen, right? Because I can't remember what day it was, like second or third day, the cartel opened fire on the military. And the military shot back, and as soon as they shot back, they fucking skedaddled and got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
And they don't want a mess with our army. Look, do we want to go to war with Mexico? No. If we go to war with Mexico, which once again, let me before all of you freak out, not going to happen, highly unlikely. probably a less than 1% chance of that ever happening. So don't take this as me saying that we're going to go to war with Mexico. We would bomb the absolute fucking shit out of them with fucking fighter jets, and it would be done and over with very quickly.
Yeah,
Very
it'd be
quickly.
over.
Especially if we just say, hey, we don't give a fuck about your rules of engagement anymore. Like,
Yeah,
it's over with.
it's over with. It's not happening. This is all about securing the border and getting the terrorists that are inside of our borders gone. We got to get them gone.
Yeah, that's what this is about. It's not about going to war with Mexico.
No, and you know, it just plays along with Trump getting rid of illegal immigrants and starting the largest mass deportation that the country's ever seen. Now, I'm going to be one to say it as long as this kind of like trend continues. A couple episodes ago, we talked about this, and I said he damn well better fucking do it, right? I remember I was like if he doesn't do this, and if this is just all talk, then I'm going to have a big problem.
I think the whole United States would have a problem. Every single person that voted for him would have a problem.
And what did he do? Day one, launched the largest deportation that this country's ever seen. And obviously the libs are up in arm, and there's so many false stories going around. Basically what they did was they went around and they started gathering up known criminal illegals. Known criminal illegals is what they did. They were not going into schools and ripping kids out that they thought were illegal.
They try to say some shit like that on CNN. That's not what happened at all.
That's not what happened at all. They weren't just going into restaurants and clearing out kitchens or anything like that. Did they go into some? Yeah, because there were criminal illegals that worked there.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
And here's another thing too, because there's somebody on here that we're going to talk about later that's already kind of addressed this.
Mm-hmm.
That was speaking for the president. We'll touch on that topic here in a little bit, but they basically were telling her, like, somebody was asking her a question, said, well, not there was 500 illegals that you guys, or 500 people that you guys picked up that weren't criminals. Yeah, well, guess what, guys? When you're going to pick up thousands and thousands and thousands of illegal immigrants that have committed crimes, you're probably going to find other illegals with them, whether they've committed a crime or not. Guess what?
They're still criminals.
They're still criminals. We're going to pick them up just the same because, oh, perfect. Now we don't have to go look for you 5 years from now. We found you. Congratulations. You shouldn't have been with this other guy. Maybe if you were out of the way, then you wouldn't have got picked up. So it's not, people are acting like we're going after people who are just here illegally. That's not the case.
No.
You get caught. These people are getting caught up because they are with illegal criminals that have committed violent crimes.
Yep.
They're wrong place, wrong time. Guess what? It happens to even Americans. When, if John commits a crime and I'm sitting right next to John, it's like, fuck,
Yep, I'm fucked.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And yeah, I thought one of the greatest things, throughout this whole deportation thing was that, like, Homan and Kristi Noem are out there riding around with these people. Like, they're right on the front lines. Dr. Phil was with Homan. This is it. Don, we are 51 minutes in here. I have never smiled this much on an episode. Like, it's just so fantastic. I get so excited, and we're only like halfway through, and I've got so much more that, like, it's so great. It's so great.
I mean, he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and that's why people voted him in.
Yep.
So liberals, cry fucking harder or shut the fuck up and move on.
Yep.
You're not gonna win this. It's over with.
Speaking of liberals crying, we'll pull one from the bottom all the way up top since we're just like right there. Fucking Selena Gomez. Holy shit. You know how women make fun of women and stuff for being like ugly criers? Like Selena Gomez, you were one of the ugliest criers I have ever seen. And then like the memes that came out afterwards, like these are the people we're talking about. Why is she crying? Did she cry when Laken Riley was murdered? Did she cry, Jacqueline Ngari? Did she cry at all the missing children? No, she's crying because Jose, that fucking stabbed and murdered a bunch of people, just got deported.
It's crazy to me, dude. It's crazy.
Like, I'm sorry, man. Look, I've got some compassion in my heart. I really do. Even though it doesn't sound like it sometimes. I really do. And you know what? I even struggle with dreamers. I struggle with even something that Trump did with the naturally, or like the children that are born to illegal immigrants in the country. I had a guy that worked for me years ago that he actually got picked up by ICE in the restaurant I was running while I was not there. And he was not a hardened criminal or anything like that, but he went to jail and they were going to deport him to Mexico. He had never lived in Mexico. He didn't know anything about Mexico. Like he was born there, and then his parents brought him to the United States. So they were going to deport him, and basically his defense was like, if you send me to Mexico, I'm going to die, because I can't live in Mexico. And so I have some compassion out there, guys. We're not talking about any of those scenarios right now. I'm talking about us going around rounding up criminals that don't belong in this country.
At the end of the day, John, because there are some cases that I agree with you on with that. At the end of the day, guess what? If you came here illegally, you are a criminal by federal law.
Yes.
You gotta go back. And I'm not saying that to just be a dick and be heartless, but no, you got to go back. You are stealing from American taxpayers.
Yep.
So not only did you come here illegally, but you are stealing from the taxpayers. So much so that it was $500 billion spent on illegal immigrants in the past 2 years.
Yep.
500. I'm sorry, not 500. $500 billion. $500 billion of our tax money. You are literally stealing. It is theft that you are committing.
Yep.
So I'll end it with that.
Oh, something I forgot to say before. Way off topic. I hate Cryptech. Do you know what Cryptech is to me? This is what Cryptech is to me. That's what Cryptech looks like. That's what Cryptech looks like. Why are you people wearing this shit out there? It is the ugliest version of fucking camo. You know who wears Cryptech? You know who wears Cryptech? That guy. That guy wears fucking Cryptech. That guy wears fucking Cryptech.
He's the spokesman for Cryptech.
That guy is the spokesman for Cryptech. I cannot fucking stand the shit. I'm sorry, we won't go any further into it. It is ugly camo. I love all types of camo. I've got weird camo on my hat right now. Don's wearing some camo. Fucking Cryptech. Anyway, moving on.
Shout out to 2A Patriot Ranch. Go pick you up this here.
2apatriotranch.com. You can grab Liberty Goons gear and 2A Patriot Ranch gear.
Little shameless plug for my buddy John over there.
Love that. Thank you. Shout out to these guys too. This is Combat Iron Apparel that I'm wearing right now. You can use the code 2A Patriot 20 for 20% off your order. So there you go. That was not planned at all. So we had some big nomination hearings going on. We're going to talk about all of them. We could do a full episode on all of these, so we'll run down through them. But just to give kind of the overview of the more exciting ones: Kash Patel, FBI; RFK Jr., HHS; Tulsi Gabbard, DNI; and Pam Bondi, AG. Sorry, we forgot one in here is Pete Hegseth.
Oh yeah,
for Department of Defense. Let's start with Kash Patel, because This guy, you want to talk about, people wear shirts that say like zero fucks given. I actually go to 2apatriotranch.com and you can get a t-shirt that says zero fucks given on it. People talk about zero fucks given all the time. This guy gives zero fucks. Zero fucks. He is brutal.
Straight up gangster. And the thing that I loved about Cash Patel during this whole thing is that no matter how, okay, first of all, Democrats are scared to death of Cash Patel. The reason why is because he put out all types of information and proved things on. I think it was the Russiagate shit. He proved like.
Oh, you mean this guy?
Yeah,
he proved things about that guy. Yeah.
Yes, that were false, and proved that was a hoax. So one, that's why they're scared to death of him. Plus, he has all of the information now of all the bullshit that was going on with Hillary Clinton, that was going on with Joe Biden, and all of the collaborative BS that Democrats have put on for years and years and years to create basically going after Republicans in general. So now that he has all that information and it's at his hands, obviously they're going to be scared to death. And that's why the whole entire time they were like, whoa, we can't have no lawfare in this country. That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's
and
crazy.
He even said it. He's like, well, that's what's been going on for the past 4 years. And none of you are bitching and complaining then. And now Democrats are screaming, oh, we don't want lawfare in this country. Wild. You didn't have any problem with it before.
Marsha Blackburn looked right at him and said, why do you think the Democrats hate you so much?
But dude, the thing about it is, and obviously me and John are very theatrical when it comes to talking about this stuff. He was not. He was very even kill, straight face, said what he had to say, and never really bent the knee at all for any type of questioning.
I don't even think he smiled.
No, not really. I mean,
Even when he said some funny shit. Like
there was a couple of jokes that were made though, where that were said, and you could see him like try to like hold it in.
Yeah. when the one Democratic senator was like, I wish we had like 5 hours to discuss this or whatever, and he said, ma'am, you have 2 minutes. So great. And just to hear, like, this is something we've talked about a lot, but just to hear these Democrats, like when they started talking about guns, and that one senator that I think his name is Welch was like trying to like get him on the Second Amendment and was talking about like trying to insinuate universal background checks when he was talking about state background checks, and then just started asking him about machine guns. Like, to be honest, obviously you and I are 2A purists and we believe you should be able to own a machine gun. Machine guns aren't even really a topic of discussion. Really in the 2A world, like, we're purists, so we believe that, and we hope that we get to that point. But neither you nor I are out here talking about machine guns all the time.
Yeah, but the stupid part about this, and let me, in case you guys are ignorant in the 2A space, and you guys don't know laws in America, it is not illegal for a civilian to own a machine gun.
No,
I can own a
lot of paperwork.
I can own a machine gun. He can own a machine gun. We can, and we don't need an SOT. And in case you guys don't know what an SOT is, that's just basically saying like you are the manufacturer that is making this machine gun, and it's basically meant for study and for yourself or whatever the case is. It's not. It can't be sold to the public. That's what an SOT is for. There's all types of ways that you can get machine guns. It's highly fucking expensive, but for the fact that he was and I believe it was Welch. Sadly,
it was your fucking family, bro.
Nah, definitely not my family. But the sad
one of my
part
family names is Welch too. So
the sad part about that is that he was saying, "Do you think that it should be legal?" It is legal, you jackass.
It is legal.
It is legal.
And that was Cash's response the whole time. He just said, I will follow the Constitution and the determinations that the Supreme Court has handed down. And I actually saw some 2A people getting on him for that. but I thought his answer was actually very valid. Um, it would be foolish of somebody from either side of the aisle to get up there and say, I'm a 2A purist and I believe that all the laws of the land are illegal. Somebody that's trying to get confirmed to uphold laws of the land. You can't say that. And what he
Correct.
did say was he basically said that without without the context behind it. And he just
Yeah.
said, "Hey, whatever laws are passed and whatever the Supreme Court decides those laws mean is what I will uphold." Which is all
And,
we ask of anybody.
yeah. And here's the thing: by being constitutional, like, okay, uh, there's obviously things that the Supreme Court has not touched on that we know. No matter, I know, you know personally, no matter what the Supreme Court rules or says, is constitutional. For example, i.e., like machine guns are illegal; they are arms. It doesn't say, "Hey, all of these guns are legal except such and such and such and such," right? So there's that part to it as well. Uh, but at the end of the day, he said that he was going to abide by the Constitution. Which,
Exactly.
guys, the Constitution says you have the right to bear arms. You
Yep.
know, I don't know what more you guys want from him. Now, and they called out GOA, which is huge for us because, I
Yeah.
mean,
And it was
obviously,
the dumbest thing to do because he was talking so negatively about GOA. Basically, he was basically insinuating that GOA is a bunch of fucking crazies. That's the way that this Welsh guy fucking framed it.
that's exactly what he's
Yeah.
basically. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. That's exactly what he was trying to say. But guys, at the end of the day, machine guns are illegal. You can purchase them. It takes a lot of paperwork. There's multiple different ways that you can get them. You have to have a lot of money, or you have to have an SOT, and
You know who doesn't
it
believe that
is
you
what it
should
is.
have a machine gun? That guy. That guy does not believe you should have a machine gun.
He also
Um,
doesn't believe that you should be able to own a semi-automatic rifle either, because he's a fucking
yes.
clown.
Next
Although he
up are
sells them to the public, which I
yes,
find funny.
funny. Next up is RFK Jr. Um, I've said it before. I could only watch a little bit of it because I can't listen to him. I feel bad for him, and how he's ended up talking like he does. I just it's painful to fucking hear him talk. It
Well,
really is.
and the worst thing about it is, whenever he's having these conversations, sometimes it's hard for him to get his response out because obviously
Yes.
there's a break in the voice, so you don't get to actually hear what he wants to say because then he's cut off before he
Yeah,
can
they're cutting
even
him
say
off.
anything.
Yeah.
Um, Now, granted, even with that, I thought that RFK did a great job. The highlight of this, and this is all that you guys need to see. If you guys don't want to go back and watch all fucking 3 hours of it, uh, go watch this one clip, and it's with him and Bernie, where he's basically Bernie is stating, "Are you going to stand by the American people and basically have Medicare for all?" Is essentially what he's saying. Like, we need to have universal health care, which is
Mhm.
essentially Medicare for all.
Yep.
And he was like, "No." He's like, "I promise to make this country more healthier than any other country in the world," which is a great response.
Mhm.
But then he comes back to say, "Well, you sued all these companies and you made all this money because you're an anti-vaxxer." Now, guys, in case you guys don't know, Bernie's the big guy against pharma. So it's weird and awkward as shit to me that Bernie would be even saying this. And then as Bernie's saying this, he goes, "Well, yeah, there's all types of corruption. You, in fact, took millions of dollars from big pharma. In fact, you're the biggest. You have the biggest donations from big pharma." His response was, "No, no, 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 no. It was 1.5 million out of 200 million. Our point exactly."
Our
So
point exactly.
and the crazy part is, Democrats, for all you Democrats over there, are so hypocritical. I don't understand it, and I've talked to John about this earlier. So you want to fuck up big pharma, but then you're pro-vax. Make it make sense. You can't be both. It
No,
doesn't work that way.
no. And Bernie came out the next day and tweeted out, I have taken no donations from pharma CEOs and this CEOs. And everybody's like, dude, just because you didn't take it from the CEO of a pharma company
Doesn't mean
doesn't
you didn't take it from the company or people
yeah.
that are high up in the company.
He was
And what
he had the
and he didn't even
biggest
say
donations.
and he didn't even say that. It wasn't from he didn't even say CEOs. What he said was is
In his
I didn't
tweet in his tweet, he said, "I
well
didn't
it's
take it from CEOs."
because I thought it said that he didn't take it from PACs or interest groups.
No, in his tweet, he said, "I did not take donations from big pharma CEOs," which is not the fucking point.
Yeah, the point. Oh, who cares? It could be a board of people that aren't the CEO that are still giving you money.
Yeah,
Like you think that these companies are that stupid? Like these companies, if they wanted to, every single person except the CEO of the company could have given you money that's on the board, and then they'd be like, "Oh well, we're not the CEO of Big Pharma, but here we're going to pay you this. So hey, do this for us." That's how this works. In case
yep.
you guys have been asleep at the wheel. Anyways,
If
kudos to
if
RFK.
if you see me kind of like messing around with my mouth right now, I had to have a tooth pulled right before I left for Cancun because I broke it on a Subway sandwich. There was something inside the sandwich. Shout out Subway. And so there's like a hole back here, and I can't help but like mess with
Mess
it
with
now.
it. Oh, in case you guys didn't know, it's one last topic on RFK, and then we're going to move to Tulsi Gabbard. The funniest highlight, and I didn't recognize it whenever I was watching it until somebody had reposted it. So RFK is just getting like pounded about it's the whole thing's about fucking vaccines, which
Hmm.
we're going to go on Tulsi Gabbard what that whole thing was about here in a minute too. Basically, these Democrats stick to one talking point and that's it the whole time. They don't ask about what they're going to do with
No,
anything. They hate them so much on this one point that's all they can drive. They're not going to talk about like, hey, what are you going to do for the public, or what are you going to do in this scenario or in this situation? It's all one fucking topic that they're just killing a dead horse with. But the funny part is like you can tell RFK is just like so out of it. Like he's just tired of fucking listening to their shit. He goes like this, John. So he goes in and he grabs something in his hands and he goes like this. And he goes, he put in a fucking Zen during the fucking shit, dude.
also
Which is hilarious.
hilarious, but also fucks in bad DEI policies. Go get
Zemo.
Zemo. Use code Goons for
And
15% off.
and I don't even know if it was a Zen. It was just some type of pouch.
Let's just say it was a Zemo.
Yeah, he put in a Zemo. He put in a Zemo pouch, or he put in the Alps or whatever from Tucker Carlson. We don't know what he put in, but we'll say Zemo for now because
Yeah,
it
we'll
works
say
better for us.
Zemo for now.
Anyways,
Um,
Tulsi Gabbard.
next up was Tulsi Gabbard, a former member of the watch list, has since been rescinded off of the watch list, and is now trying to get confirmed as DNI. She's a badass, man. She's a badass. There's just no two ways about it. She's a fucking badass. The amount of shit that they tried to throw at her prior to her even doing her confirmation hearing was insane. Insinuating that she had met with Hezbollah leaders and that she's a Russian shill and like all of this fucking craziness. Like, she is, I don't agree with everything with Tulsi,
No, me either.
but for DNI, she's a badass. And she
Yeah,
knows her shit.
yeah, she does. And she held herself. She was put together very, very well. I love the opening statement that she had, where she said,
Yep.
"You're going to hear a bunch of lies and manipulation to try to make me look bad," and then she names off every single thing that then the Democrats then go and talk about, right?
Yep.
Which was like the perfect way to. It's like the Eminem fucking 8 Mile shit. Like
Yeah.
I am white. You know what I mean? Like it's like one of those moments in politics. So I thought that was an awesome way to start. Obviously, there was a lot of shit that they did say where, I mean, obviously she was going to look bad because it's like one person saying they're trying to manipulate the story. And
Right.
and that's what it is, right? So it's very hard for her, and especially in a 2 minute scenario or 5 minute round, depending on what the which part of the time you were watching it. It's very hard for somebody to like really say because they get like 30 seconds, if that, to actually answer the question. And I think that's the point, to make every one of these people look bad because they don't get to really go into detail of everything.
Well, and especially not when all they did was ask her about fucking Edward Snowden fucking 800 times.
Correct. And that was the big thing. So, in case you guys didn't watch it, literally every damn question was about Edward Snowden. You don't even have to go watch it. You can watch this recap right here. Every single question was about Edward Snowden. Democrats, Republicans, they all, I think it's 702, part of the Patriot Act. That was basically everything that this whole entire conversation was about. Understandable. This is for DNI. We get that part to it. But every single thing was about Edward Snowden and how he was a traitor and how she supported Edward Snowden. And it's like, dude, calm the fuck down. Look, uh, the vast majority of the public of America really does think that Edward Snowden is the greatest whistleblower of all time for America. And in case you guys don't know anything about Edward Snowden, what Edward Snowden did is prove that the government was spying. Okay, the CIA was spying on the public. Okay, which is illegal. It is against our Fourth Amendment rights. It is highly illegal to do that. And he proved that the government was committing crimes. Now, granted, yes, Edward Snowden committed a crime. You cannot leak classified documents to the public.
Yes.
What she said several times, yes, he's a criminal. He committed a crime. But at the end of the day, for all of the people that are trying to twist the whole conversation, Edward Snowden probably is the greatest whistleblower of all time, because otherwise we wouldn't know that the government is spying on us. Now, granted, we know that these phones right here are spying on us every single day, and we still fucking use them, which I have my own thoughts and views and opinions on anyways. But and I also have my own views and opinions on 702. I don't think that any Republican, true patriotic Republican, should have ever signed off on 702. It is a major threat to your privacy rights. Now, they
Yep.
did say on there that they had changed seven. There was 7 changes that helped
Nothing that made
protect.
a fucking difference.
Yeah, and I don't believe that. I don't really believe that that's what's actually going to happen at all, period. And I think Republicans know that, and I think Democrats know that. And I think that because, the CIA will probably kill you off, or they will probably leak every single bad thing that or manipulate things that you've done in your past, or take things out of context, or change certain things to show like you're an evil person or a bad person, that all of these Republicans and Democrats are scared to death. So they kiss the CIA's ass and will bend the knee to 702 every single time.
Yeah, I mean,
Granted,
I think the biggest mistake outside of 702, like the biggest mistake that Edward Snowden made that is obviously questionable is going to Russia, right? Like in order to escape the shit that he was under here in this country, he went to Russia. Bad look, right? Like just bad look.
bad look,
Uh,
but one of the reasons why he did it for is because other countries would have extradited him back to the United States.
yeah. I mean, I get the his thought process a little bit behind it, but that's what makes him look really bad. And I got to say, it does make him look bad. Now, at the end of the
Granted,
day,
yes.
do I think he should be pardoned now? Yeah, I think he did something illegal. I think he did something illegal in an effort to uncover government corruption. I think he has paid his debt to society. He's, not been allowed in the country that he was born and raised in, or see his family and all that kind of stuff. So, and I think that the work that he did has led us to the age we're in now, where there's more uncovering of conspiracies and government overreach. So,
Yeah, I agree
there's
with
that.
that. You know, my only thing with Edward Snowden is that he did bad is he did leak military information that he
Yes,
should have
yes,
never leaked.
agreed.
So I'm not giving Edward Snowden a full pass on that.
No,
So I don't want you guys to think that we are. I
not at
don't.
all.
I don't think. Look, granted, he did something extremely great and was one of the greatest whistleblowers of all time. That was a terrible look. And then I'm going to be honest, it doesn't matter if he got pardoned and he came back to the United States, the CIA would kill him, or they would have somebody
Yeah,
else that would kill him and cover it up. Um, it doesn't make a difference if he gets pardoned or not. The chances of him coming back to the United States and actually surviving is slim to absolute fucking none.
yep,
So but yes, I mean, obviously, and here's the thing, to all those Republicans and Democrats that were up there talking shit, if he wasn't the greatest whistleblower of all times, then why did you guys make those 7 supposed changes to be able to protect our Fourth Amendment? So
right.
put it
Wouldn't
back
it
on you
need
guys.
wouldn't need
Wouldn't
changes.
wouldn't have needed it if you guys were following the law. So
Yep. Next up, Pete Hegseth.
boss.
Boss. Um, they came after him with everything they had. Guns ablazing, the adultery, the drinking, the whole 9 yards. And that man stood fast the entire time, admitted to making mistakes in his past. He had hundreds of military members and special forces people in attendance for his confirmation hearing. Um, and he squeaked by the hair of his chinny chin with a vote from JD Vance.
He did, and I mean, and here's the thing, in case you guys don't know, so I kind of like how we're doing this. Like you're giving this example, and I'm kind of breaking a couple things
Yeah.
down on it. The biggest thing that was talked about was obviously women in combat roles. Like
Yep.
90% of the whole entire conversation was women in combat roles, which and DI, which is essentially the same shit. It's the same talking points, right? Um, Pete Hegseth has said that he doesn't believe that women should be in combat roles. Uh, for the vast majority, and I think a lot of people are taking this out of context. I think the reason why he's saying that for is because most women can't pass the test that a man or that the bar that has been set in order to be in these combat roles.
Yep.
Therefore, we've lowered the standards, right?
Yep.
And his whole thing is like we shouldn't be lowering the standards. If anything, we should be raising the standards and only taking the best people for these roles and for these positions, which it leads back to DI, right? Merit over, DEI is
And
essentially
if a
what it
woman
is.
can do it, then she
Have
can
at
do it.
She can do it. But the thing is, and I love Vet TV because they made like a comedic skit on this where it's like, it's like, well, a reporter was like, well, we heard some things that you that don't believe that women should be in combat roles. Well, if a woman was in a combat role, he goes, I'd like to see her throw 120 pounds on her back, walk 6 miles, and have to pick up a 200-pound man. It would absolutely fold her. So yeah, I don't think that women should be in combat roles. Which, granted, look, we're not saying that there's not strong women out there. The vast majority, the vast 99.9999% of you can't do that. In fact, and I'll even rephrase this, the vast majority of men can't do that.
Correct.
So it's not
Correct.
it's not a we hate women thing. It's the fact that there's very few people, only your strongest and best, hence merit, are able to do certain things that are required and should be the standard.
I couldn't go out and do it right now.
No, me either. No
You
way.
know,
Dude,
I couldn't do it.
I started trying to run 4 miles and I can't run it the whole time. Like I have to I can jog a mile at 7, which is like a pretty fast pace. And then for half a mile, dude, I got to roll that sucker all the way back down to 4 on the treadmill because my lungs are already burning. And then I have to, balance it out. There's no way. And to put a full kit on your back and then times that and do 16 miles, I would break. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I got to see it firsthand in Air Force basic training. When we went out to do PT, the flight across from us was a female flight, and we are just getting smoked in the morning, and we're doing regular push-ups and diamond push-ups and reverse push-ups, and like, I mean, fucking getting smoked, right? And you look across, and there's only, like, I don't know, 40 feet dividing us across this blacktop. You look across, and they're on their knees doing modified push-ups.
This is my point.
And we all started running. We had to do, I think it was 3 miles each morning, if I recall. I can't remember. I think it was 3 miles. We all started running all at the same time. 90%. There was probably I would say that there was probably 10% of women that finished somewhere in and around where the men were finishing on the run.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in and around there. There's probably about 10% of them that were up close. I don't think I remember one actually like coming in first or even like top 10 or anything like that, but they were in the mix. I wasn't even up in top 10. And I had some women that finished around me, when it came to running. But the rest of them, they came in minutes and minutes after we did. And I am not bashing women at all. I worked with some badass women in my career field. They're out there. I also worked with some douchebag men that couldn't even lift a fucking trailer tongue. Like it's all about who can do the job.
Yeah. And it should be
at the highest level.
Because the people next to you, their lives depend on it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if John's life depended on me and vice versa, we would both want to be the absolute best that we could possibly be. And we wouldn't want anyone around us to be less than that. Like
No.
it's just
I mean, this brings us to like the DEI conversation, to be honest. And I saw an old military, I don't want to say buddy, but acquaintance had posted on Facebook the other day, kind of negatively talking about the removal of DEI programs. And when he said DEI, he said diversity, equality, and inclusion.
that's not
And of course, I had to point out that
equity.
that's not what it is. It's equity and inclusion. And that's honestly what all of us have the biggest problem with is the E part of it.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
it's not about equality. It was about equity.
Yeah.
And not everybody gets the same fair shot.
Yep.
It's that's not what it's about. And I don't know. Well, I do know. I mean, it was the same thing that we've talked about with gun rights and stuff, is that everybody has bowed to the minority over the past 10, 15 years when it came to DEI style things. And it just kind of accumulated into this big, massive mess where every corporation had a DEI department and the government had DEI departments. And we have dumbed ourselves down because we are not putting the best candidate forward. And I'll be the first to say, I don't care whether you're black, white, Cuban, Asian, woman, man, whatever. If you were the best person for the job, you should get the job. If you are not the best person for the job, you should not get the job. Period. Full stop.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest problem. And also, John, that's why we've seen the massive change in this country sweep back. So it's like the pendulum, right?
Hmm.
We went this way. We were like, holy shit, that was a terrible fucking decision. We see everything going up in flames. Companies making terrible decisions, fucking going bankrupt because of it. The lashback that we saw with companies like Budweiser,
Yep.
Target, you name it. You see that the best products aren't being put out. You see all different types. We could really dig in deep to see how many bad things have happened because of DEI, and because of that, the vast majority of people said, "Whoa, this was a terrible decision." You saw that during the election, and it swung back to, "Hey, let's just focus on merit again because that seemed to be working." And that's what we did. And now we're back to that. So now, are we still going to have these people over here still bitching and crying? Yes, we always are. The
Hmm.
point is to move this side so far in advance where they can never come back. And that's
Yep.
where we need to be, because we are never going to be the best country in the world if we continue down the path of DEI. We have to put our best foot forward and put the best in front and lead the country. And we all have to want to strive to be the best.
Yep.
That's
And that goes
that
for the
is the
government and it goes for the private sector as well.
and that's the American dream.
Hmm.
Every day that you wake up, you want to be the best. When I go to my job, and a lot of people think that I'm cocky and arrogant at my job, and if you're watching this, yeah, because I've been working for the same company for 10 years. I've been in the top 10 for 10 years out of the company. And out of, at one point in time, there was 500 people that were in my position. And I've always been in the top 10. It's because I want to be the best. Now, obviously there's a lot of DEI problems at my facility, which has caused me to never be able to really move and advance in other directions. But that's been the problem. So people like me who are like, why are you hiring these people that later, guess what, end up quitting or two end up failing, and then you have to fire them, get those positions. When you have these groups of people here that have been proving themselves for year in and year out, and their numbers show that, the statistics show that, but you're not giving them the opportunity to move forward. And the rest of America has seen that. And it's seen absolute failure, and people are pissed about it. We have to put our best foot forward. We have to move. That is the American dream. We got to stop cutting the American dream off for DEI, because that's what DEI is. It is literally killing the American dream.
100%. Could not have said that better. Could not have said that better. Um, Along those same lines, yesterday, Donald Trump said, by tonight at midnight, no more pronouns in your email signatures.
Oh, apparently he took it also away from our passports. I saw that today, which I thought
Yep.
was hilarious. And for all you people that are getting upset about that, like, chill out. Like, it's not going to stop you from going to another country. You can still call yourself a female if you're a male, like whatever. Like,
All it is it's
stop.
making it's stopping the forcing or the awkwardness of making other people play your fictitious game.
Yes, exactly.
We don't have to play the game. Now, if you want to ask me to call you something, that's one thing. But don't expect me to feel obliged to do it. I've got no problem with you asking. You have got free will to be asked to be called whatever you want. I don't have to play along.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't have now. If we give you, if we say okay, and we do that, great for you, fantastic. Me and John are not the people that are going to hate you for whatever it is that you're doing.
I don't care.
We don't care. Look, there's people out there in the world that have. It's like, and I know I'm going to get flack for this. It's a mental disorder. It is. It's been proven that it's a mental disorder. We always recognize it as a mental disorder until 2020 is when people started saying, "Oh, it's not a mental disorder." It is. It is a mental disorder. We're not saying you're a bad person because you have a mental disorder, but you do. It's gender dysphoria, it's a mental disorder. Now, that doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you less of a person. That's not what we're saying. But we're not going to play the game of somebody with a mental disorder and be like, oh, this is the norm now. This mental disorder is the norm. No, because that creates more chaos in the world, right? We feel bad for you. From the bottom of my heart, I feel bad for you. Okay. But I'm not going to play your game to ruin the rest of society. We just can't do that.
No, and I shouldn't have to feel caught up and not know what to call somebody or forget, because the norms are what I see is what you are, and that's what I call you. And
And
you know,
biologically, that's what you are anyway. So you
right.
can't fight.
And the fact that we've gotten to the point where if I were to slip up and say something that you're not, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, well, that they want to make it a hate crime, and it's like, dude,
Right.
you can't do that. Like for thousands of years, we've been calling men men and women women. Like, chill out, like relax, take a step back.
Yeah.
Like,
And stop putting them on your emails.
yeah, it's weirdo shit. It
Yeah.
really is. It's weirdo
Don't need to
shit.
do it.
Yeah, all I need to know is what your fucking name is.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. What's your
You
name?
know,
I'll
what's your
call you
name?
by your name. If your
Make it
name's
simple.
Mike and you want to be called Susie, I got no problem calling you Susie.
Put Susie on your fucking email.
Yep. No problem.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not gonna
so
I'm not gonna call you Miss Mike though.
no, no. Um, on a more somber topic, uh, we had 2 plane crashes in the last, what, I guess 48 hours now. We had a plane that was hit by a military Black Hawk helicopter in DC at DCA at Reagan. And then we had a smaller plane that we're not sure exactly what happened yet crash in Philadelphia into a bunch of homes. It was a flight that was taking a young child to have some sort of surgery, life-saving surgery or something, I believe. I just want to say, like, man, some real tragedies here. A lot of good souls taken away, and the DCA crash is just, it was 100% preventable. Don and I had a chance to talk before we came on to film here, and we were talking about like the possibilities of what happened, and um, seems quite obvious that there was just a lot of failures in a lot of different areas. Maybe mechanical, maybe human, maybe electronic, whatever it may be. But a Black Hawk helicopter was flying where it shouldn't have been, and unfortunately, a really bad accident happened. And then also in Philadelphia, the information, because it just happened last night, is very scarce at the moment as to what exactly happened. It looked like that plane was on fire prior to it coming down. I saw, like, did you see the Ring doorbell videos from that one?
I have not seen that. No.
Yeah, I mean, there's one. These 2 people are leaving their house, and it's literally like right in front of their house, probably, I don't know, half a mile, and it shows it like coming down in the fireball, and they're like jumping into the house. It was really bad, like really bad.
The only one that I seen of the actual crash itself was the Uber driver.
Mm. Yeah, the one from like kind of across from a gas station one.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
he was an Uber driver. I don't know. It was out of somebody's car. But
yeah.
yeah, that's the one that I seen.
Didn't he say? I believe he was Muslim, right? Because he said Allahu Akbar.
I don't know.
I,
I
I
don't
I think I heard, and I'm not saying that in like a, obviously that phrase gets thrown in when you're talking about Islamic jihadists
terrorism.
and stuff,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
but that's obviously not every situation is what that's used in. But I remember hearing that in the background of it, so just an interesting caveat there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's sad what happened. Obviously, like John was saying, uh, we don't want to speculate on exactly what's happened or say like this is the definitive reason why this
no,
happened. we have our own ideas. And I mean, John was obviously in the Air Force. I was not, so he's probably a little bit more on the. He's probably a little bit more knowing than I am when it comes to airplanes or helicopters or anything like that. But what we do know is that the essentially the helicopter was basically 2 times over the height limit that it should have been. Now they typically do this on a consistent basis. The military does this. This is a normal mission, and I say mission, not the mission that you guys think where it's like a combat mission. They're going to go kill
It's a
people, and
training mission.
it's a training mission. Yeah, exactly. Um, so it's not like they haven't done this before. They know the protocols. Um, John informed me that yes, these people were experienced, but they weren't highly experienced. So that could have played a role into it. I think that it's probably more on the lines of an electrical issue or mechanical issue. Some type of radar information that was transmitting back and forth could be bad. Uh, it very well could be a human error on their part.
Could be.
Uh, I don't know. Um, However, we did see the conversation between the actual airplane itself flying in, and it was telling it, "Hey, follow that plane on your way in. You know, make sure that you're going where they're going." Essentially, is what they were saying. And then 2 seconds later, boom, everything's out. Uh, it's just weird to me. So it sounds like it's probably the latter, and I could very well be wrong. So I don't take this as the gospel, but it sounds like to me it's probably the latter of tons of things going wrong. Obviously, whoever was in that tower gave really bad information because they should have seen the helicopter there in that area and should have told them. And then obviously the helicopter, I would like to think that the military just didn't make that big of a mistake. Now they could have. I would assume that it was probably something with either an electrical or mechanical issue that was going on with it, or bad radar information. Even maybe the tower guy was bad on their information, and that's the reason why they're higher than what they should have been.
Yep.
Um, and obviously, the worst thing that could have ever happened in that scenario. It's a very unlikely thing to happen in general. It's not like we see this on a consistent basis, which leads to me that there was, you know, probably multitudes of things that happened that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, and it's tough for those of you that have flown into Reagan. It's a small airport, and it is right on the shores of the Potomac River. It's actually a wild experience when you do fly in there because you're like literally, it looks like you're flying into Washington D.C. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Mhm.
And there are military aircraft that are stationed there too. So, just wild scenario. But T's and P's to all the people involved in that incident there. Um,
You know
somebody
who
that
I was gonna say? You know who we missed talking about?
who?
Pam Bondi.
Oh, did we? I jumped right over Pam Bondi. I don't know how I
Yeah.
did. Oh, I
Well,
started talking about DEI, but
let's just talk about Pam Bondi real quick, okay?
yeah,
So Pam Bondi, obviously, she got nominated. She went through. She is now the AG, right? So I think that Pam Bondi, and I'm not even going to talk about her specifically during her. I thought she did a fairly decent job going through.
yeah,
She's probably my least favorite pick out of everybody um, that was picked. I think that Matt Gaetz could have honestly actually went through and done it, and I thought Matt Gaetz would have just been the absolute disruptor, is what is exactly what we need as AG. It is what it is. Pam Bondi's our AG. I don't like Pam Bondi for a multitude of reasons. Do I think that Pam Bondi could potentially be a good AG? Yes. The reason why I think that she is not, I don't like her and I don't think that she should be the AG is obviously because I'm a 2A guy. John's a 2A guy. In our community, we have an issue with Pam Bondi because of red flag laws and all the gun control that she's pushed, which she was asked that question during the hearing, and she didn't shy away really from saying, like, other than she said, well, I believe in the Second Amendment and I'm pro gun, but, and it's always those but people that we
I
have a
don't
huge,
listen to the butt people.
is what we have a huge problem with, because if you're a 2A person, then you're an absolutist. Like, we are never going to consider you a pro 2A person if you
If you had a butt,
if you scure away from the 2A, because you are no longer a 2A person. Like,
Yep.
if I say I'm a Christian, but I believe that it's okay to worship the devil, like,
you're not a Christian.
you're not a Christian. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I hate these 2A, these pro 2A people who are but people, because they are anything but 2A.
Yep.
And that's my biggest problem with her. I think that she is the biggest threat to the Second Amendment that we have underneath Trump right now.
Agreed. Um, yeah, I mean that's all I have to say on her too. Other than that, I thought the hearing was fine. Kind of along those lines though, and I'm jumping around here, so don't let me get off track when we have to go back. But we still have no ATF director.
I'll be surprised. Okay, I thought they were going to get one. I don't think that he's even going to put one in.
I don't know. So, did you watch Brandon Herrera's video this week?
I did not.
He was talking about it, and kind of what he thinks. It's a great video if you guys want to watch it. It was not a really super long one. It was like 15, 18 minutes or something from Brandon Herrera this week talking about it. I highly
Who's
suggest.
our pick for the ATF?
Yeah, who's our pick for the ATF?
Trump, if you're watching, listen, you need good, valuable people that are in this, that have actually, their foot in the door, that this really matters to. And me and John are part of that community. We want Brandon Herrera. Put Brandon Herrera in as the ATF director. You will forever go down as the greatest president ever if you do that and you stick to the Second Amendment and you don't scare away from the Second Amendment. I promise you, you will win with the gun community. And might I add, the gun community is one of the largest reasons that is not talked about is why you won this election.
Mm-hmm.
There was more people, there was 10 million people that were gun owners that had never voted before. That a vast, huge amount of those people actually came out and voted for you this time. You have to listen to the gun community. Quit treating us like the redheaded stepchild. The reason why we vote Republican for is because we know, like, okay, at the end of the day, and I'm sorry going off on a little rant, but this deserves one.
It's good.
Look, this is the problem with Republicans, and as a person who votes conservative, here's a huge issue. Conservatives, what they do is they will go out and talk about how they're pro 2A and how they're going to help protect our gun rights, and then they get in there and they do nothing to help push our gun rights further. They just don't do anything at all, and that's best case scenario. A lot of times,
some of them vote for gun control.
Yes, and then some of them end up voting for gun control. John Cornyn, Tom Tillis, you fucking bastards. People like that who are absolute shitheads. So here's the problem. Now that you're in office, okay, and you've done all these great things, and me and John are absolutely saying that you've done amazing things. You immediately hopped on. You said that what you were gonna do, and you did it. Now you also promised a lot of things to the gun community. People are out here saying that you didn't. You did.
You did. We saw the video. You spoke directly to us at Goals.
Yes.
GOA.
You said that nobody would be able to touch our gun rights. There would be no more gun laws that would be going towards our rights at all, that you were going to even in the NRA, that you said you were going to get rid of the pistol brace rule, that you were going to get rid of the FRT shit, the bump stock, all of that stuff. You said you were going to do all of that stuff for us. We expect for you to do those things. And Republicans, you got to quit taking us for granted, because I promise you, this is the only reason why you won this election. That those young voters that voted for you because you won the I think it was the young vote by 32%. A large chunk of those was because those were first time people that were voting, that were gun owners that wanted to have their gun rights restored. So you better listen to us.
Yep. And Brandon Herrera has a plan, and in that 18-minute video, he lays out a portion of his plan that if he was nominated for ATF director, how he would dismantle it from the inside out. The point of his video was saying, like, hey guys, we can't just outright abolish the ATF right off the bat, because what would happen is all of the duties that the ATF carries out would
go to the
just
FBI or go to other people. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's 30,000 FBI agents. So he's saying that's not a good thing. We need to go in, we need to tear it apart piece by piece, and then get rid of it. And he has a plan. Tell me who else has a plan as ATF director? Nobody has a plan. He has a plan.
And here's the biggest part about that. And this Trump, once again, we have our foot in the door. We need this to be, Brandon Herrera needs to be the ATF director. That is an absolute must. Like I said, if you want legacy, this is how you get legacy. Okay, this is how you stay stamped in time forever as the greatest president that America's ever had. Okay, do what we're asking you to do. It's highly important. I agree with you. Now, the thing about the ATF is, yes, them dismembering, because what you're going to do is you're going to get a bunch of rhinos and you're going to get a bunch of liberals in this conversation. See, they want to destroy the ATF. Okay, we're not saying destroy the ATF as like, an entity. What we're saying is completely get rid of all of the illegal shit that they do against the Second Amendment. Period.
All these rules, all these best practices,
all of this stuff that they've kept on gun owners that's highly illegal, that they've talked about the millions of documentations of who owns what, which is highly illegal. It is against the law. It is against the Constitution to be able to keep that information and get rid of that stuff. That's what he's stating by dismembering it. Now, also, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. When the fuck has the ATF done anything with alcohol and tobacco? Also, why is firearms part of that? Because firearms really should have no rules, period. Because in the Constitution, it states that you have the right to bear arms and it shall not be infringed. Okay? This is the biggest point. I don't care if you're a Democrat or if you're a rhino or you're whatever the fuck it is that you are. The Second Amendment is the only amendment that says shall not be infringed. And for all you people talking the militia, no, it says, it also states we the people, okay?
the people.
You are the people if you are a United States citizen over the age of 18. And we're going to get into that later because there's something else that me and John are going to
We can go into it right now.
Well, I guess it's a perfect segue. Okay, so John, go ahead and
yeah.
Tell them.
So day before yesterday, the 3-judge panel on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals overturned the right of 18, 19, 20-year-olds to own handguns, own and purchase handguns. It had been the law in many states that you had to be 21 years old. A lot of states had enacted new laws, taking that out. Florida tried to do it and got sued as well. This is a huge win for the 2A community because, as Don, you were just saying, we the people. And if you can join the military at 18 years old and be issued a gun and issued a handgun, then you damn well can go down to the corner store and purchase a firearm. There should be no exceptions to that. As you said, shall not be infringed. The hat that you're wearing on the head, the moniker, the motto of 2A Patriot Ranch says shall not be infringed right there on Don's hat.
Yeah.
Because it is the only thing in the Constitution that says shall not be infringed, because our founders and our forefathers knew that the only way to keep a civil society that was not overtaken by the government or outside forces was to ensure that the people inside this country, we the people, were allowed to be armed. Period. Full stop again.
Yep.
And
exactly.
And this is just a step in the right direction, allowing the younger adults to own handguns.
Yeah, and I wanted to get on this because this is where I was going to lead with that, and everything that he said 100% correct. So let me dive a little bit deeper into why this matters so much, okay, and why that this is constitutional. Okay, so during the time of the founding, the government said, hey, if you are between the ages of 18 and 45 years old, you must own a gun. You must own a gun, and you have to purchase it, and you have to purchase the ammo. We already know that. So if we're looking at what was written and the historical data that is presented at that time, that's what it states. So and then also says we the people. It's not. It doesn't just say, hey, you have to go buy a gun between the ages of 18 and 45. It's the people in general at that point in time. There was no laws or rules or regulations, period, for anybody at any age to be able to own or purchase a gun. In fact, it was promoted to own.
You had to bring your own gun to military service.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So let's go back into the Constitution. Okay. Because I'm going to hear this. People are like, well, no, you had to be 21 years old. And at that time, that's what was considered an adult. Okay. Nowhere in the Second Amendment does it say you have to be an adult or at this specific age. And let me tell you why our founding fathers said that for. Let's go back in time. If you think that our founding fathers didn't realize when they needed to put an age into a constitutional amendment, you were out of your mind. You know why? Because they did it. They did it for everything. Congress, you have to be 25 years of age in order to be in Congress. A president, what is it? 35, 36?
30, something like that,
yeah, 35 or 36 years old. We know that they knew about age. And if they wanted to implement age into the founding of the Constitution for the Second Amendment, they would have fucking done it.
Voting
and they
age.
didn't. Exactly. Voting age, 18 years of age. We know that. In fact, like I said in the beginning of this, you had to own a gun at the age of 18 to 45. It was mandatory. Mandatory. And that is around the time of our founding fathers when the Constitution was written and when the Constitution finally, in 1792, it got, what's the term that I'm looking for? It got ratified. Yes, correct. It got ratified. So if we're looking at time, history, and tradition, and that's what the Constitution has to be based upon, and we know that based on Heller and Bruin. Okay, I'm sorry, not Heller, but Bruin. We know that based on Bruin that is the ultimate. Okay, you have no argument anymore, people.
No, it's over. It's over
with. It's over with.
Yep.
We know that. So it is highly important that this is reestablished into law that 18 years of age is allowed to be able to purchase a gun of any sorts. It doesn't say at the age of 18 years old you have to buy a rifle or but you can't own a handgun. It says to bear arms. Period. Point blank. Stop.
Period. Yeah. Huge win for us. We've got two more topics I want to cover here. I threw another one in here, and I think we've got a few minutes. One, both you and I were not huge fans of Trump campaign spokesperson Carolyn Levitt.
No.
Not that we were
Anti
at it by any means. I just never really liked her, to be honest. It just was kind of like, I don't think this is the right person. I will say that my attitude has changed and my thoughts have changed. I thought that she has done a very good job in her first 2 weeks as press secretary. She is extremely prepared. She does not have to look through her notebook like Karine Jean-Pierre had to do to find any answers. She spends most of her day with the president. So when she speaks about these things, she's not speaking like secondhand information that she got or some letter that was handed to her.
something
She's
that was put in a
literally
notebook.
yeah, she was literally speaking for the president because she heard him say it.
Yeah.
I think she's done a fantastic job. I know you have some notes that you want to give her. So I'll gladly turn it over to you to give your pointers, your official press secretary pointers.
Okay, so they're not actually pointers. It's more of just like highlighting certain things here. Okay. I just to state this, obviously, me and John, we agreed on this. We said, hey, we don't necessarily think she's the best person for this job. Like, that's what we both thought at the time. Mainly just because, like, I really didn't find her to be like super solid when it comes to like her ideas. You know what I mean? Not saying that her ideas were all over the place. It was just kind of like vague.
Yeah, it just wasn't well put together.
It wasn't well put together. That's the better way. She has done a phenomenal job. Now, the only thing that I can say is that she's quick-witted, she stands on business, and she's a no BS type of person, which is exactly what you need in that role. Trump's last person, now she speaks for Fox, blonde hair chick,
Kaylee.
uh, Kayleigh McEnany, phenomenal, absolute beast, savage, awesome. She's very much like that, maybe a little less tempered and a little bit less just straight to the point, which is exactly what we need. That way, nobody can fucking interrupt and say bullshit. In fact, she did an awesome thing. Somebody interrupted a person that she called on, and she goes, first of all, John, I didn't call on you. She's like, so quit interrupting the person that I called upon. She's like, but go ahead and speak. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, dang,
Well,
like,
and she's done some other cool shit too. So like now all of the White House staff has to stand and they opened up more seats. They opened up a seat in the front row for non-traditional media outlets to go in like online platforms and stuff.
that's the one thing
Fantastic.
that's the one thing I was going to say. Also, allowing other media sources, because nobody gives a shit about CNN, nobody gives a shit about ABC or NBC or fucking Fox News really anymore. I mean, Fox is still the most watched, but the vast majority of people are paying attention to other forms of media outlets online. Okay,
Hint, hint, Carolyn Levitt, if you're watching,
yeah,
um,
we would
Liberty
love to say
Goons would love to have a seat.
that. Absolutely. Uh, the only thing that I think is hard for her is you can tell even the first speech, you can tell that she hasn't quite settled in just yet because
Sure.
you can hear it in her voice a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she is going to become amazing at this job and
Yep.
she's going to get more comfortable in her role.
Agreed.
I think that that is the only thing that I have seen that it's just a little bit of shaking of the voice. It's a little bit of, which I do all the time, a little,
Yeah, I mean, she's sitting in front of a bunch of people that hate her.
yes, trying to get out her stuff. So, or trying to get out what she's wanting to say. That's the only thing that I would say, hey, try to work on that, which she's going to because she's got no choice but to. outside of that, like, kudos to you. You have done a phenomenal job. Like, I am so impressed
Yep.
by everything that you've done. I have nothing negative to say. I just wanted to like point out a couple of highlighted things that you've done and what you said. I love the fact that you're a no BS spokesperson for the president. You give the facts. If you don't know something, you straight up say, I don't know that information. I'll go get this information, and then you bring it back. You
Mhm.
actually bring it back, which circle back Jin Saki has never done once. We're still waiting to hear and for Jin Saki to
Yeah,
circle back
Peter
to us.
Peter Ducey actually even said it. He said, you know, it was the first time where it was like right after they were done talking where she didn't have some information for him, and he was like, I got a message with the information.
I
Like,
mean,
brilliant, right?
yeah, it's what that position is supposed to be. So kudos to you. You've done a phenomenal job. I am highly impressed. I had a bad interpretation of what your potential was. So congratulations to you.
Yep.
You are kicking ass.
Kudos to you. The last thing I have, and I didn't tell you I was going to do this, Don, was did you see Jesse on Fire's episode this week about Destiny?
No, but that
Ye-
guy is a clown.
So apparently,
Not
Destiny's
Jesse on fire. Sorry.
no
So don't take that out of
Destiny is not Jesse on Fire. We love Jesse on Fire.
yeah.
Um, Destiny's ex DMs were hacked and released, and it's bad. Like it's P stuff, kind of bad,
Oh
and
wow.
very very raunchy sexual stuff. Talking about how he likes to SD and uh, like have things put in his B, and it's you got to go back and watch this. For all of you that want to have like a stomach turning morning or whenever you're watching this, go watch Jesse on Fire's episode on Destiny. It's disgusting.
Dude, that's insane. You know, the thing is like he got ate up so hard. Him and oh, that little fucking prissy kid that's always on uh what's the guy's name? The British
Pierce.
on Pierce, yeah.
Yeah.
They got chewed up so bad on Pierce from everybody. They look like idiots because all they do is scream. You know, it, Destiny's way of winning an argument is let me be louder and let me be faster and let me speak like and it's like you
Yep.
don't ever let somebody talk and you're just like trying to prove points and then you are hypocritical because you then later on in the conversation everything that you just said you went against once again, so it's like it doesn't make any sense, like you're hypocritical even with your own speech.
He's toast now.
So I didn't know this,
So
but
apparently he was leaking and sending out videos and audio recordings of things he was doing with guys without their knowledge. He literally is telling this person that he's DMing with that he was taking hidden audio recordings of him S-ing D and then sending it to people. He's probably going to go to jail.
I hope he does, honestly. I hope he does. And I hope they highlight the absolute shit out of it in the news because they never highlight these types of things. By the way, Joe Biden letting off peas, uh, uh, giving them pardons, and Democrats standing by these pardons is absolutely sick and disgusting and just shows how twisted the left really is.
They are. They're
And
fucking twisted.
I mean, with Black Lives Matter group, with all that stuff, the same stuff. We can't say it online because YouTube is YouTube. You get what we're saying when we say the word peas. All of these people seem to be peas. So
Yep. Yep. You know who else is a douchebag? That guy. That guy right there. That guy right there. We're not even gonna. We've talked till we're blue in the face about that guy right there. But he's been
oh,
he's been bashed up pretty good this week. He's been dropped by Staccato, Sig,
USCCA.
USCCA, which fuck them anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, that guy right there, total douchebag. And you and I talked about it before we came on.
Shout out to Brent Tucker, by the way, by leaking all that information and showing how much of a douchebag Tim Kennedy really is. I hate Tim Kennedy for other reasons. That's because he's an anti-2A fucking fuck.
Yeah, but
sorry
shout out
for
to
my
Brent
language.
Tucker, who is also a really nice guy, by the way.
Yeah.
We got a chance to chill with him for a minute at Goals this past year. Shout out to Brent Tucker. And you know what? I'm gonna do one of these. Shout out to my fucking self. Because in episode 2 of the Liberty Goons podcast, almost a year ago, I called this guy a fucking douchebag. Tim, the douchebag Kennedy. I said it and I stand by it. And I was one of the first people on YouTube to call him a fucking douchebag. Now it's popular to call him a douchebag.
Everybody's riding your coattails, John.
Everybody's riding my coattails. I called him a douchebag. All 3,000 people that watch the Liberty Goons now know I was one of the first. He's a douchebag. This guy's a douchebag.
Oh, man.
This guy over here, he is not a douchebag. His name is Don Welch. Go follow him on Spotify or all your other streaming platforms. He drops some sick music every now and again. He's kind of like semi-retired right now, but I fucking love this guy. That's Don. I'm John. We're the Liberty Goons, and we are
out.